So we have got the Thermaltake V37 ARGB. Now this case is quite a different size. It's bigger than a medium size case, so I'd say it's mainly medium to like a near enough a full tower case. It's got plenty of water cooling options on there. I would actually say this is more like a super tower because it can fit a 420 rad in there, so I would say it's more of a super tower. So maybe more of a normal size full tower to super tower case. It's also got a big acrylic on the front, which is taken off at the moment just so you can see inside the case, but we'll talk more of that in a minute. But yeah, we're taking a look. I've already built it and stuff like that, and I just wanted to give you my observation of what I found that is useful for you guys or what's not useful, and if you should buy this or not. So let's get on with the review. So what you notice is that I've got the Thermaltake AIO water cooling unit, and this is a 240 version, and it is on the right hand side, or yeah, be your right hand side on the actual side of the case. It also comes with 200mm fans, so 2 of them on the front, which are RGB and controlled from the front IO at the front there. And it also has a 120 RGB fan, which is basically synced and linked with this one. So there's no box or anything like that. The box is connected somewhere inside the actual case itself. You can put, well, let's talk about what you can do with this case. So you can put a 420 on the front here, a 360, a 280, a 240, a 120, a 140. On the front you can put a 360, 280, 140, 120, or you could have one radiator and then have these big fans blowing cool air in it. Or you could have changed the fans to 120 or 140. It's up to you. So if you've got 3 at the front there, then you can have obviously a 360, and then you can have a 280 if you have 140 fans. You can also put a 120 or 140 at the bottom here, and then the 120 and the 140 at the back. It also has nice big slots about this big for the 120, and then for the 140 it's about this big, so you can definitely guide it up and down. Don't think really need the fan to be guided up and down for this case, because it seems to be really quite unique in a way. We do have all these drive bays down here. They're kind of a plastic fill, not like the greatest plastic, but they're alright, they will do. So you can put your mechanical hard drive in there, or your SSDs in there. So you can put 3 SSDs on the front, or you can put 3 mechanical drives in the front here. And then on the back, we'll get to the back in a minute because I have to take the cover off. I want to show you my great cable management skills that I didn't bother to do. Anyway, underneath we do have a dust filter, so you can keep it all nice and clean. Very straightforward, like chicken wire stuff. It goes underneath, and it goes right the way through the actual case, straight to the front. And for some reason I can't get it back in like I did before, so maybe it's not as straightforward as what I thought it was. Where's that thing? Right, well, we'll just leave it out for a minute. We get 3 cable, was it? No, we've got 2 cables, E and F, and this is for Mystic Light or AS Rock motherboards. I can't remember what their RGB is called. You also get one for Gigabyte and Asus as well, or Asus. And those are the cables that you connect to your motherboard, so you can have the lights synced or your fans synced with it. They give you so many screws. This is just one screw bag for your fans, and obviously your water cooling and washers and the speaker to go in there to make sound for your your computer when you turn it on. And then I've got a plethora of screws that I'm picking up with my hands right now. Like literally, we might as well talk about screws for a minute, because I already don't like this case for 1 second. It's got too many screws. So look how many screws that is, and then all the other screws were all to connect this whole computer case together, and they give you that many as well. And all of these screws that they give you, and they do put a few standoffs for your ATX motherboard. For a micro ATX motherboard, you have to remove them about the standoffs. But what's different about that is they didn't give you a tool. I had to go and get a tool and find a tool myself. So you know the hexagon standoff that you need with a Phillips head or flat head, and you can put it onto there with no problems. Well, they didn't include one, so I would like to see that in the next show of a Thermaltake case. Now, to get the front off alone is what 2 of these big screws. I don't know where the other one is, but okay, it's disappeared. So we've got 2 of these screws, it should be. Yeah, one big one at the top here and another one. So there's one of these missing. So there's 2 of them and then 3 normal hexagon screws to get the top off at all the time when you need to get into the case, which is just too much. That's too much of a pain. 2 of these, and these are all not even hand tight when I went to get them. These were like screws that needed to be used with like a screwdriver, which is a bit of a mission. Anyway, so with the standoffs, I had to just use the standoff tool from somewhere else, put it all in. I do like the opened up design of it. It looks pretty unique. I like it. It's easy to get to the EPS connector and plug it all in, which is your 8-pin connector at the top here. Easy to put the fan in, but the fan was already in there. But if you're going to change it out or put another one in, it would have been easier. Getting the water cooling unit was a bit of a struggle because it didn't feel like it wanted to go, but technically it does give it more of an elegant like way of look that I can see, a better aesthetic. 24 pin, this is obviously a Thermaltake 700 watt TRTS power supply. It goes straight through here and then comes out the other places through the grommet holes. Now the grommet holes, at least it's got grommets, but it's not really the best. I just hate grommets. That every time you put things through them, it feels like that grommet just keeps coming out as well with the cables, makes it more awkward. I don't like how they've got the room for obviously a micro ATX, but yet you've got HD audio and USB cables looking very not nice, because it's obviously made for an ATX board where you could have it feed through and then it wouldn't look so bad, but because it's a mini ATX board, it's just really awkward. So it comes out here and just doesn't look nice. It just doesn't look nice at all. Got a grommet hole here. Don't know what's feeding through there, but I guess you can put an extended motherboard on there. Not too sure though. I haven't even oh yeah, you can. You should be able to definitely put an extended motherboard on here, actually, saying that. But if you can't, oh well. But I'll just check. I will check that anyway. So you can move this drive if you want, and then obviously put 140 or 120 in the bottom down there. I'm going to get the front off in a minute, show you these wonderful big fans and show you the controller. But we need to have a look at my back. Oh yeah, also on the front I forgot to say, you can put a graphics card, obviously vertical position. So technically that would be alright from a distance if you're looking from it like straight front on, and then you wouldn't see the cables as much. And obviously this is an older motherboard, so I'm just seeing what it would look like with everything on there, and it would look okay, but there's a limitation, so you can't go more than 410 millimeters this way, and that's 16.4 inches. And obviously there's a fan restriction as well for how far it can go out, so that's about 7.1 inches. Technically you wouldn't want it going, if it was glass it'd be alright, but with acrylic it's not alright. But anyway, let's turn it round to the back. So I'll undo these screws, and these are captive screws, and look at this wonderful cables. They look lovely, don't they? Anyway, on here first, this is where the radiator is situated, and it's obviously got a dust filter on here which is magnetic, and then it's got this brick sort of work, so it's easy to clean, and then you just stick this back on there and you're ready to go. That is good. That is pretty decent. I like that. But what I don't like is all this cable mess that I've done. Nah. So yeah, I've just literally routed the cables there. There is loads of cable points as well all over the case that you can actually use for it. This is where you can put more SSDs in it. So you can put like 6, 8. You can put like 8 SSDs on here. 3, then obviously 5 mechanical hard drives. So you can put 8 SSDs, and then so 8, 9, 10, 11 SSDs in this whole computer case. Easy to get to the retention bracket, sorry, so you can obviously do your water cooling or air cooling, whatever you want to do, and get to it pretty easily. These are captive screws on the SSD, so it's pretty easy to use these as well. The only thing is though, what I think is a bit restrictive is if you've got your SSDs. I like when they put SSDs on here, they probably say not everyone's going to have loads of SSDs, they might use M.2s or whatever. But if you were to put more SSDs to cover up this side, you're literally blocking off the radiator to breathe out, to breathe the hot air out or exhaust hot air, and that's a bit of a mission. Also, the cables are a bit of a mission to make it more tidier because you need to keep it out of the way. Now, you've got cables coming from the I/O from the front, and it just makes it awkward as F, like, to sort this all out. This is why I've left the cables like that. I've literally just tied it up once. You could make the cables more tidier like so. But as you can see, this cable's already in the way, but I could probably stick it from the top here and then have the cable coming to this side as well as this one, and then get it out of the way of the radiator, and then these cables moved over. So there is a way you could do it and stuff like that, but I'm just leaving it as cable mesh so you can see where you can have different ideas of where you want to do things. You do have a good 2 and a bit finger width to put your cables and route them down, and basically there's nowhere to tuck the cables in because there's no shroud, so I've just literally tucked them in. It depends on your own preferences how you build your own computers, but that's how I've done it to show you in this video. On the side here we do have breathable air holes as well for the 200mm fans, 2 of them on both sides it should be, which is still not enough air, but it will do. It will do from now on. I'm going to try and take the front off. I'm going to obviously turn it to the side because I don't want it to break or anything. Right, so I pulled the front off. Whoa! Literally pulled the front off. And yeah, it's all acrylic through the front here with a little bit of that disgusting tingy colour that I don't like. But it's to make it look nicer when it's on here. Anyway, you got, look at the size of these fans. Are they kidding me? These are well expensive, these fans, and they've put 2 200mm fans on there. I'm sure they're making radiators is going to be as big as this. This would be excellent. For you only need one of these to cool your system. They'll be better than a 360 hopefully, and quieter. But anyway, what we got on the front, so we got 2 USB 3s, we've got 2 USB 2s, we've got 3.5mm jack for headphone and microphone jack, and then obviously you've got an indicator for hard disk activity, a power button, and then your RGB button. Now, I don't like the RGB button because you kind of need a pen to like literally poke around in it because my fingers don't get in there at the moment. Anyway, you've got hexagon screws there, so you can take this off and mod this case. This kind of metal underneath the chassis, so it's got a bit of plastic everywhere and all that, but the chassis is actually metal and it's kind of weighty but not too heavy. It's not too bad. But anyway, let's stick this back on the front. I do like the fact that it hasn't got the cables all connected to the front as well when you pull it off, because it's not exactly the easiest thing to pull off. So I'll just shut that down. Here we go. So that's what it looks like from the front with acrylic, and we're going to put the side on, don't worry about that. But let's turn it on quickly so you can see it. Press the power button. Ooh, that looks cool. So you can do things with the RGB, and as I'm showing you right now, oh, that looks cool. So you can, where's the manual? I'm going to actually look at the manual because I can't remember what the settings are for it. For the RGB. But it does go through the spectrum of colour. So obviously you can find your own colour to go whatever you're doing. I think that they've basically taken the attributes from the software and implemented it in that little control box. There we go. So we've got wave mode, got flow mode, got RGB lighting, mode 3, single colour, radar mode. I don't know if that looks like radar mode. So we've got red, yellow, green, cyan, blue, white and purple. Then we've got breathe mode and mode 11 to 18. So it's red, yellow, green, cyan, blue, white and purple. So that's RGB style. And then we've just got it breathing and stuff like that with any colours that you choose. And then when it gets to the end, so I think the white one's the end, Come on. Right, then we've got fully lit or fully lighted mode, they called it. So you can have all your colours and that, just doesn't do anything, it just stays as it is. Then the next one, single colour. Oh, well, it's meant to be single colour, but it says off. Right, there we go. So we've got, what mode is this? Is this wave mode? I'm not too sure what mode this is, because it's meant to say single colour: red, yellow, green, cyan, blue, white and purple. And then the next one's meant to be light off. Right, anyway, so I guess this is wave mode. So you've got all of these. And then this one should be flow mode. And then RGB lighting, which should be the next one after you've gone through a plethora of buttons. Which is that one. Yeah, so it does quite a lot. So if I hold down the button, what does that do? Long press RGB, 3 seconds. The fan will blink twice, which now is controlled by a motherboard and sync, vice versa. So if I hold it down for a few seconds, and if my motherboard was RGB, then it would sync with it. That's what it's trying to say. If I could get my finger in it, it'd be quite cool. Right, so that's blinking to say that that's with the motherboard now. And then if I hold it down again, it should blink vice versa to say it's back, yeah, back to the controller, which is at the top here. So that's, whoa, nearly killed myself. So to get it off and on, you just slide it off and then you pull off and then it's no problem. I'm just putting it on at the moment. And the whole front's acrylic, as you can see. And if I just put this one screw in real quick, which would be more simple, just 2 screws at least, not like 20 of them. And it's like, you got to put in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 screws on that side to keep getting this in and out. So let me just take this off real quick. Looks pretty cool. What I like about it is that you can see everything. You can look down, you can see everything. But it's not always good you can see everything if your cable management is pretty rubbish. Now my cable management is really good, but the only thing is I've just left it like that, so don't think it's crap. But anyway, you can see a whole visual representation of this whole case. It just looks really nice. My only downside is it's acrylic, so as soon as any dust gets to it, you start wiping it with a microfiber cloth or anything like that, it's going to start to scratch, or you could accidentally just tap it and it will scratch. If this was glass, this would be a very expensive case, but technically I don't think it should be. I think it's in the right market where it's a little bit unique, a little bit different from everyone else's case, and Thermaltake are pretty nuts. They just do little nutty things like this and add RGB to it. It looks like this is the selling point. Big 200mm fans that you can really play around with in the front, which are RGB. So not just 200mm fans, 200mm fans that are RGB, and a 120 in the back with space for 140 and 120 and 140 in the front. Do you know what I mean? It's got a plethora space of like water cooling everywhere. You could take those hard drives out and just have SSDs in there and put a mechanical hard drive. You can put 3 mechanical hard drives on the back, but it means less space. And the computer, when you lift it up, will be definitely more weighted to the back, which means it's a little bit lopsided, so just to take note on that. But other than that, if you want a vertical graphics card stand, you can get one. It's already built in the case, but the only thing is it doesn't have a PCI riser card with it, so that's annoying. Too many screws on the side here, and it's acrylic front and it's acrylic side. It looks nice for a little while and then it's going to be obviously scratched, but overall the chassis is pretty well made and it's not too bad, other than it is a bit like if you lift it up it's going to be lopsided. So obviously lift it towards this way because there's nothing there, it's all the weights on this back and it just feels like a lopside over. Plus the grommets need to be sorted as well for micro ATX motherboards. If they're going to add the standoffs to say it's for that, imagine having mini ITX, because mini ITX, I think it doesn't even have the grommet holes for that. That would be really awkward. It looked really stupid in this case, but then why would you have such a big case with a mini ITX case? Anyway, this is the Thermaltake View 37 ARGB case, and if you liked it, leave your comments down below and ask me any questions you'd like to, and don't forget to subscribe and share and like this video, and I'll see you all in the next one. Thanks for watching. Roger and out.